when I first moved to the US, or actually when I first went to Boston to study for a month on my break, on my college break, actually school break, you know, I realized that I needed to get out of Brazil because everything I knew, and I had lost all the money after my father's passing, I experienced, and my family experienced economic crisis firsthand. Like we went from being wealthy to having very little money, even though, for example, we had a few apartments, but corruption made everything completely chaotic in Brazil. And why is the inflation attacks on most people, on everything, especially the poor? Because even we, with property, we cannot survive because when we got the rent from a particular apartment, or when we rented an apartment, on the next month, the first time we received the rent, that money was worth like 30%, 50%, because we had huge, huge inflation. We have hyperinflation in the 90s. So we had one of the years was more than 1,000%. So I recall, even very young, going with my father. I lost my father when I was 15. And I remember even before that, going to the supermarket, and by the time you got to one aisle, you needed to get like a box of oil or things you could take it home, or flour, whatever, because by the time you went back to the same position in that aisle, they were already changing the price. It was just insane. The U.S. under Biden went through a very problematic inflation, but you can see that even small digits. I mean, you never got to 10% a month, let alone a year. So all of this, we need to balance. We need to make sure we invest on things that are aligned with people's interest. And think of this. When you think of the US government, or what the founding fathers thought about it, it's really a government by the people, but the bureaucracy grew tremendously. And now, like, we don't really know what is something and where something starts and where something ends. It is ridiculous. Okay? So change is needed, and now we have it. Whether it's gonna be everything good, we all together can make sure it will. And this is the point that I want to talk about. Let's talk about the new American Revolution and why can Brazil participate, and what can we teach the world? We are at some levels able to live together, like right, left, different thoughts. So for the past few years, looking at Brazil being very divided is not good. We understand that that division has not been good to the US, and there's always someone who wins. And but who is it? Even with war in Ukraine, for example, that we taunting with nuclear war, who can in fact win? And as a Christian, I have, and even as an economist, as a political scientist, as a businessman, but mostly as a Christian, I have to think, who wins if the whole world blows up, or if there's a nuclear holocaust? So it is time for all of us to take a break and really look our neighbors, as fellow citizens, and not as enemies.